honestly don't really like Tampa in the spot.
No.
No, and I think it's more honestly about golf. It just played so bad last week. I know people like, again, media is the dumbest thing ever, but because they won by 1 point, people were just blowing smoke up Goff's ass and Detroit's ass and be like, look how well they played against Stafford and holding them to all those field goals. They scored 3 points in the second half, like against a Rams defense that the guy had just torched the half before. So the fact that he struggled with the adjustments made by the Rams, a little scary. Like a little scary because now we have Todd Bowles coming in, which, you know.
You hate Todd Bowles.
I don't like him. And it's just because he's a dinosaur. Like he runs a very dinosaur defense where it said more about the Eagles than it did about Todd Bowles last night where he didn't disguise anything. He literally would have 9 guys walk up to the line and either all 8 were blitzing or all 9 were blitzing or he might drop 2 back into coverage. It was just very like, we're not going to change what we're doing here. We're going to show you exactly what we're doing just because they're kind of making fun of Hurts in that offense. They were just like, you guys don't have a hot route. You don't have the offense to combat us just blitzing you.
And they didn't have the receivers.
Yes. And the flip side, Detroit, I mean, again, Goff is, I mean, they're not mobile, but they do have, we talked about Laporta, one of the best tight ends ever. He'll be able to get him the ball. Amon St. Brown can always get open anytime he needs. Like, the Bucs are not as good as we're perceiving, but the fear is this Detroit team is not that good either.
No.
Like, they're also a team that can be passed on. And we just seen Baker has looked so well. Like, even against the Eagles, like, he was throwing to the exact spots he should be throwing to. Like, guys were wide open, and it's like, okay, not only is he seeing the field well, he's really trusting the offense. Like, he was just in such a rhythm last night that's the hardest part for me. So, I really do want to take Tampa, but I just can't get there right now. So maybe it'll change by Thursday, but yeah, Goff to me is just, he's bad. Like he's inconsistent where it's like he looked incredible in that first half. In the second half, it looked like it got to him. Like he just could not play well. So it's scaring me a little bit.
Well, look, we didn't love the Eagles and Bucs game all week. We kind of waffled on that game. Ended up being a game we didn't want to play. I didn't bet anything in the game other than Kate Otten over because Stuckey, called it in the Sunday six-pack, his over 21, and he got that in 2 catches. But Baker, I think for us, is a conundrum because
he's been good to us this year.
He's been great this year.
Yeah.
And
we won a lot on him.
So are we betting on Baker to continue to be accurate, to continue to be careful with the ball? If so, this Lions secondary can be passed on, right?
That's what I mean. The back door is always going to be open.
Here's some stats from Evan. And the last 4 games, Stafford and the Rams, 25 of 36, 367 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Nick Mullins, nearly 400 yards. Justin Jefferson had nearly 200 yards receiving. By the way, Puka had 180 yards receiving. Dak, 26 of 38, 345 yards. CeeDee Lamb, 227 yards receiving. And then Minnesota, the week before, Mullins, 411 yards. Justin Jefferson, 141 yards. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Trey Palmer, one of those guys might have 200 yards receiving against this Lions secondary.
But you saw what they did to combat that is, again, it's football. I know Lions fans are very sensitive, but your guys' team did play dirty. Like, your defense was taking an incredible amount of cheap shots, hitting guys low where it's like, where else are they supposed to hit them? You're not supposed to take a guy's kneecap out when he's going over the middle, okay? Like, you can hit him in the thigh or in the midsection, but it's just like they took on Campbell's identity. Like, they know they suck. They know their defense is terrible. So what they did, to the Rams, anytime Puka caught it, even if the first guy hit him and he's going down, the second guy would come in and clean him up, right? Because in football, you can get away with that. It's a physical sport. And that's what they did against the Rams. Why would they not do the same against Tampa here? It's like they're just going to be hitting the hell out of them. So they know that. They know they stink, and I'm in total agreement. That's why I don't want to take the 6 where it's like, I can't believe, like Chad was talking about before he came on, this had gone up to 7 at one point. So opened to 5.5. All the money came in, all the teasers, all the bets came in on Detroit. This got driven up to 7. The pros have coming back. Now it's down to 6 at most books. It's just like, yeah, 7's too big because they're always going to be able to get backdoored. Like, that number's too big. 6 feels right. Like I said, I do have value slanted towards this Tampa team, but it's just hard for me to get there. Where it's like, you know, I look at what Chad just talked about, this Lions team, and it's just like they can't protect leads. And even then, it's like we just saw last week that offense got so tight in the second half. Like, I can't get over the fact that they put 3 points up at home. It's pretty insane. So, yeah, I just, like, again, me and Chad, we don't need to force bets here. We only have 4 games up,
Yeah.
but it's like, you know, we're probably going to have to make a pick on us, either a side or a total in this game. As we sit here right now, it's like I want to take Tampa, but I'm not in a rush to. The 7's already gone. If you can get the 7, great. The book that sponsors our show doesn't have a 7, it's a 6. There's no point in giving it out right now.
I feel like as we're talking, we're going to convince ourselves to be on the Bucs. I said Lions instinct at first.
Now it's up to 6.5.
And now that I'm reading all this, by the way, the most Baker stat ever. We love Baker. We've talked about Baker Moxie all season long.
Yeah.
27-21 against the spread as a dog in his career. 4 in a row as a dog, including 7-1 against the spread the last 8. So
Yeah, he's been good to us.
he's been great.
Yeah.
And like the more you think about this matchup, the Lions are going to win. But Baker could keep this team
Close.
in the game. So it's very possible, I hate to say it, like this is going to be foxhole or big balls. Like we know at this point, we know that the Niners are exec decision. We know that the Bills are Simon Says. So it could be Texans are big balls and Bucs are foxhole or vice versa. I do think we need a little bit of some sharp calls to help us out as we get to Thursday's show before we can make that call.